Hello everyone, Happy New Year. Yeah, I know it's almost the end of the first month of the year 2026. Well, I'm saying Happy New Year because this is kind of like my first video in this year. So yeah, Happy New Year and welcome to 2026. 2025 was an amazing year for me and I know it was for you, but we are moving forward. It's 2026 and we've already started. So, welcome and welcome and welcome. For you who is seeing me for the first time, I am Chiso Marvelous and this is my channel. So, today, when people say that ignorance is bliss, more like when you don't know something, like you're kind of like preserved, you don't have any idea about stuff, you are protected, like it rids you of some form of responsibility and actions and even certain things that is expected of you, so you choose not to know. But sometimes it's really not okay because even in the midst of that, you get to like miss certain things, or you kind of like get hurt at the end of the day because you chose not to know, or you chose not to listen, you chose not to learn about those things, and they kind of like want to cost you something. And it's a form of ignorance because what is ignorance? I may ask. Well, I think ignorance is simply a state of not knowing, not being aware of, or not having a certain kind of knowledge or information about something. Just a state of you not being aware of certain things. Just like when you go to a new place, a new location, there are certain cultures, traditions that they uphold in those places. You don't know them, and sometimes they may look strange to you, but that's something those people know, and that's what they are used to. So now you're left with the options of, okay, why do you do that? That's like asking questions. Why do you do like that? Why do you do certain things, and why do you do this way? Just because you want to be informed and you want to know. And that's a beautiful thing because, as they would always say, no knowledge is a waste, because you never can tell when, how that piece of information is going to save you from something you are not even aware of. I feel like ignorance is not foolishness, it's not stupidity, it's not a cause, it's not you um acting in a weird manner. It's just a state of being. But then it becomes foolishness when you don't know, or you choose not to know. Like it becomes foolishness when you choose not to know about things that you're supposed to know about. Like you've been provided with the information, you have access to certain things, but then you choose not to know those things. That's when it becomes ignorance. There's a thing. I feel like there's a thin line between being ignorant and being wise. That is why certain people see ignorance as being foolish, because having wisdom is the ability for you to know what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. Being ignorant sometimes is like choosing to even ignore, even when you have the information. So that's why people say like misjudge, but it's not you being foolish. It's not you being unintelligent, because someone can be wise, someone can be intelligent, and they are ignorant of certain things, certain areas of life. So it's at the point where they choose to learn about those things. That is when they become acquainted with those things. And then they are no longer ignorant of those things. And one thing that like I always think about, and it kind of like scares me, as a Christian, I just feel like ignorance should not be an excuse for you, like you not knowing should not be an excuse for you not to do certain things, because it is expected of us to seek. Because the Bible says, when you seek me, you will find me. So it's expected, God said, when you seek, you will find me. It's expected for us to seek. So you choosing not to seek, and then you're being faced with certain things, or then you like there are certain experiences, and then you be like, oh, I didn't know. That should not be a point for you as a Christian. I just feel like that should not be, because you're meant to keep going, seeking for knowledge, seek for wisdom, and let God direct you in the areas you feel you're short. When you go to an organization, like you start a job, you're given certain rules, regulations about the organization, which you are expected to follow. And then you don't follow them, you do something out of line, you are still going to be penalized, whether or not you read or you did not read. Information has been provided. It's you that say you did not read. And then you now do your excuse now will now be, but I did not know now that we're supposed to be doing like this. They will still punish you. That's the same thing. I don't know, but I feel like that's the same thing because people often face certain things in Christendom. Like you're being faced with, you're like, sometimes people are being attacked. They don't even know what the issue is, but it might be like maybe somebody did something, maybe your parents or your ancestors. You know, when they say generational curse, those people that did that thing, it's probably they did not know that it's going to affect somebody, but it's out of their ignorance, and yes, you're suffering from it. Do you understand? As I said, sometimes being ignorant is not a blessing. Like it can turn to a curse when it goes out of like overboard. So the point of this video is for you to seek wisdom. Yeah. Because even in law, they said ignorance is not an excuse. If you do something that's against the law, you are going to be punished because we have constitution, which like the government is expected of you to be acquainted with everything that is inside. But then we will not read. Like we will not read it. So like, tomorrow now you say, I didn't know that was about this, and you will be penalized for those actions. So it's the same thing. Not entirely the same, but I just feel like we should apply that wisdom too when we are dealing with God. Go before Him, seek His face, ask questions. Yes, when we ask questions, we get a lot of answers. We know how to do, when to do, what not to do, and how to do it. We find clarity too, you know. So that's just all I'm trying to say. Seek wisdom, ask questions, read when you're supposed to. It's not just about being, even in that space, in any space you find yourself, like what you're supposed to know. Imagine you went for an interview now and you did not prepare. You did not even read like about the company you're going to like interview for. You go there, they ask you questions and you're not able to answer. And then someone who did their work, who read about the company, they studied, they knew the values, and they go for that interview and they are being asked questions. And this person, they say certain things that they feel or they know that these people are going to, things that they want to hear. Who are they going to pick at the end of the day? So that's a kind of approach we should do when we are dealing with God. Ask questions. Know the things that are expected of you to know, so that your life at the end of the day would be blissful. So yeah, I'll catch you in my next video.